Hi there, this is Matti with a new video. The reason that I started making videos on this channel, at least one of the reasons, was that all of the gear that I have kind of accumulated through the years were starting to gather dust. Because I've been in a creative standstill for a few years, doing other things, pursuing other goals. And I thought it'd be quite a shame if I never use this stuff. I thought it would be a great conduit and a source of motivation for me to start using it again, start getting the hang of how to record, how to mix, and how to do some video editing. If I actually had a goal, a concrete goal like this, like releasing YouTube videos. And I could perhaps learn a bit about performing, miking things, mixing, video editing, all of that stuff. And it just worked out pretty great. I've learned a lot of things in these couple of months, or has it been like a month or so, really short time, that I made I think almost 8 videos or something like that. And from the very first video, when I started mixing it, I noticed that the sound that I was getting, there was a great disparity between the sound that I experienced when I was playing the guitar and the sound that I got when I was listening back to it. So I found out that I wasn't expressing the stuff that I thought that I was, and so I started tweaking my sound a little bit to improve it or move it more closer to what I'm going for. And I thought that it would be fun to make a video showing you some of the things that I did to improve. And let's get to it. So, I guess I'm kind of replicating here my setup that I had in the first video a little bit, but I'm using this guitar instead of the Tele because I think it highlights some of the problems found in the first video. This is a really high output fire breather of a guitar with these P90s that are really powerful and high output. So it'd be a good tool for highlighting some of the problems and maybe get them sorted out. Yeah, so I like to play roughly three core sounds, and what I had set up was, so I'm using a Marshall DSL-40C, which is an older version of the DSL-40. It doesn't have all of the goodies that the new one has, but it's a solid practice amp, especially considering the low price. And so the core sound that I started working on was the kind of an clean at the edge of breakup. So I have the amp set up so that the volume doesn't break my eardrums, but it's kind of opened up the power amp a little bit, not too loud. I have the classic gain channel engaged. I'm getting my overdrive and distortion from the pedals that I'm using. I have it set up like the crunch channel is engaged, and the gain is at half. And this is the basic core tone. I'm using the bridge pickup here on the SG Special. So that's a little bit further than the edge of breakup actually. So at this point I could perhaps roll down the volume a little, so I get it a little bit closer than what I'm going for. So a clean tone would be like. Something like that. So that would be the kind of the first sound that I use. Another type would be the classic rock, classic gain with the super overdrive engaged. Something along those lines. And the third sound would be a heavily distorted sound that I could use in more extreme styles of metal. Let's put the DS1 on. So rather aggressive, and now that I listen back to it, a little bit harsher than I originally thought. So what can we do to start working on the tones? Well, let's start with the core tone. And I think one of the first things, of course, always would be to check your tuning, that you're in tune, because it's gonna sound much better tuned. So I can hear I'm a little bit sharp. Here's a little trick if you find it hard to listen to. If you have long hair like I do, this might sometimes be a little problem. So I can put it closer to the microphone, and I hear it coming out of the amp. But I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way now. So I think that's close enough for now. So that could in itself make a small difference, because I'm now a little bit more lower tuned. I could check the intonation as well. Seems I'm in the ballpark at least. So I don't have to make any adjustments here, but correcting the intonation of the guitar will improve the sound immensely also. So let's check something out. The first thing I would perhaps change now that I think about it is that let's take the first clean sound. That's not at the edge of breakup. That's all broken up. So what I could do instead of using the crunch channel is to go actually on the clean channel. And I put, so this is rather clean, so I could put the gain on max to achieve the edge of breakup. And I compensate with the volume just a little bit. So I was checking the inputs that it's not overdriving the inputs. Yeah, so that's already much better, but actually these P90s sound great and they do kind of really attack the front end of the distortion pedals and the amp, but it's a little bit overbearing actually. So what I will do now is I will lower the pickups a little bit from the factory settings. So let's do this just a little bit. Will do wonders, I think. I think that's a lot better, but now that I've lowered the bridge pickup, I can have some problems because this is the bridge pickup. The neck pickup is louder, so I need to adjust that as well. Just a tad lower. Like so, and let's have a listen. I could perhaps lower the bass end just a little bit more. Sorry about that, so just a touch here as well. Let's have a listen. So the rhythm pickup. So I think now it kind of breathes just a little bit more. I can get more twang, more of the jangliness that I'm going for. If that's too much for the bright sounds, I can just roll down the tone a little bit, like so. Or even more. But I have that high treble on command, like. I can dial that in just as trebly as I want. So the tone controls have been put there for a reason, and especially when you have separate tone controls for the bridge and neck pickups, you can find a lot of ways to shape your tone there, right there. So what about the pedals now? I think this is closer to what I want. it cleans up rather nicely as well. But what about the pedals? Let's start with the Super Overdrive. Let's engage that and see how it sounds now. So I think it sounds a lot better already, but I could perhaps experiment just a little bit by lowering the drive even a little more, like so. Let's put it to the halfway point. I think I have to adjust the level as well. Let's see. I think it opens it up quite nicely. So I think lowering the gain is helping us to get more crunch, more expressiveness, more dynamics in, and so it, when I dig in, it's more apparent what I'm doing. Like if I play softly and if I start to apply more force, you can hear there's a big difference between when I go soft and when I go hard. I'm gonna start soft and go hard. I just realized that I didn't even have the pedal on. So there's a lesson for you if you want to use less gain. It can be quite effective to remove all of it. So I didn't neuter my SG like completely. Okay, well, what about the high distortion one? Sounds better already. What if we lose some gain here as well? Oops. So things like this happen when you're doing it live. But yeah, let's go for it. So like. So I think this is much closer than what I wanted in the beginning. Now that I've kind of explored the sounds a little bit more. So I hope this gives you some ideas what to try out. So I guess my first and the core advice is to lower the gain just a little bit. Try if it clears things up, because it might feel good to play on a saturated, compressed tone, because it kind of helps you to play some of harder licks. But in the meantime, you kind of lose on the clarity. So it could be beneficial to just lower the gain a little bit. Play with the height of your pickups, because that might affect things quite a lot. You might find that really raising them or lowering them makes your sound much closer to what you want. Also try out using your volume and tone knobs on the guitar, and try the different knobs on your pedals as well. And have fun. Really listen to what comes out of your amp. Try to be analytical. If you record your sound, you might find some surprises there waiting, because you hear things pretty differently when you're just listening than when you're also playing, because you can really concentrate on what you hear. And you can start learning to hear things a little bit differently as a result, even as you play. So those are my tips. Hope this is interesting to you and maybe even some help. And let's see if I can figure out something else to show you next time. Until then, thanks for watching and have a nice weekend, everybody. Bye bye.